Hi, second grade. It's Miss Giannino, and I am back with Clementine Chapter 7 coming at you today. Before we get started, like we always do, let's look back to remind ourselves of exactly what we've read so far and maybe what happened in Chapter 6. So in Chapter 6, when I look back through, I'm reminding myself of how Clementine and her dad spent some quality time together, and they were trying to think about ways to get rid of the pigeons off the building. But I think they talked about a little bit more than just the pigeons. They kind of connected on a deeper level, which is important. And Clementine, I think, felt pretty supported by her dad in this moment. So let's get into Chapter 7, shall we? Here's the picture. And I can see by Clementine's face and her mom's face that something is going down. Let's read to see what's going on. All right, Chapter 7. I knew Friday was going to be a bad day right from the beginning because there were clear parts in my eggs. I can't eat eggs if they have clear parts, I reminded my mother. Eat around them, she said. Just eat the yellow parts and the white parts. But I couldn't because the clear parts had touched the yellow parts and the white parts, so all I had was toast. Have you got all your stuff? My dad asked as he was leaving. Of course, I said, right in my backpack. But when I went to show him my homework, 3 sentences about how the planet Saturn, which I had decorated with a picture of some squirrels I'd seen in the park, it wasn't there. Better go check the black hole, he said. I gave my dad a that's not funny look, but I went back to my room to check. The black hole is what my dad calls the place underneath my bed. He says things mysteriously disappear there. I do not think fathers should be comedians. My homework paper was not under my bed, and the rest of the day got worse. On the bus, Margaret walked right past our usual seat and sat next to Amanda Lee, even though all Amanda Lee can talk about is going to the mall, which is boring. But anyone else with a beautiful name like Amanda Lee probably made it up. Then, as soon as I got to school, the teacher said the following students are excused from recess so they can catch up on their journal writing. And I was one of the following students. 3 times during journal writing, the teacher said, Clementine, you need to pay attention. And every time he said it, I was paying attention. I was paying attention out the window where the 4th graders were playing pickle in the middle. Whenever the ball came anywhere near Margaret and Amanda Lee, they grabbed each other and shrieked like they were being murdered, which everyone knows means we're best friends. When my teacher moved my seat away from the window, I was G-L-A-D, glad, and I wrote it all over my journal page. I don't care so hard that my pencil broke. When I got home from school, I was planning on going straight to my room to draw a picture of me with my new best friend, but my dad was putting his raincoat on, and it was not raining out. Fighting pigeons is not for the weak-hearted, he said. It takes superhuman courage and resourcefulness and cleverness. When my dad talks like this, it means he has a new idea. You have another battle plan, I asked? Yup, he answered, and it's a doozy. I'll probably be promoted to general for this one. You already are the general, remember? Oh, right. I'm so modest, sometimes I forget. Well, I bet I get the Medal of Honor. Dad. I might even be knighted for this one. Dad, I said. Sometimes my dad needs help staying serious. So what is the new battle plan? My dad looked around like he thought there might be spies sneaking up on us. Then he bent over and whispered in my ear. Psychological warfare. This sounded like a good one, so I followed him out and sat on the steps to watch. I could do that drawing later. First, my dad hosed off the sidewalk, then sprayed the pigeons until they flew away. All the time, he was muttering things like, oh, they're crafty all right, but I'm craftier. And it's a little-known fact that pigeons were the 8th deadly plague to visit Europe. Then he pulled a brown plastic owl out from the bag. He got a ladder and climbed up to put the owl right on top of the lion's head over the lobby door. I asked him what this was for. The pigeons will take one look at that owl and they'll head right for the hills. Well, for another building. Pigeons are deathly afraid of owls. Yep, I'll probably be knighted. It's plastic, I reminded him. But pigeons don't know that. That's the brilliance of my plan. I didn't see what was so brilliant. I didn't see how a little plastic owl was going to frighten off a flock of pigeons who fought over who would get to sit on the head of the roaring lion. And while we stood there, Dad admiring his brilliant battle plan and me worrying about it, the pigeons came back. They settled right on their regular perches all over the front of the building, except for a few who decided to sit on the owl's head. What my dad needed was something real. Polka Dotty would have scared them off. Dad put his ladder and his raincoat away and came over and sat beside me. You still miss her, don't you, sport? I nodded. I miss seeing her when I get home from school. I miss patting her and her fur. It was so soft under her neck. I miss hearing her purr when I fall asleep. I even miss the smell of her cat food. That's a lot of missing, my dad said. And she would have scared those pigeons off, wouldn't she? Absolutely. She was one terrifying cat. Dad, she would have been terrifying 2 pigeons, I said. And then I had one of the most astounding ideas of my whole career. I jumped up and gave my dad a kiss right where his beard stops being crunchy. Then I ran back into the apartment, went to my bedroom, and reached under the mattress where I keep my favorite picture of Polka Dotty. Then I ran to the coffee shop around the corner. Can you make this bigger? I asked. How big do you want it? The clerk asked back. There's Dad, and there's Clementine, and there's all the pigeons. Not afraid of the owl on top of the lion's head. I took out my wallet and laid all my birthday money on the counter. How big can you make it for this much? The clerk counted my money and thought for a minute. I can make that cat the size of a German Shepherd for that much money. Perfect, I said. There she is. Then he took the money and the picture of Polka and told me to come back the next day at 4. I ran home and let myself into the apartment. My dad and Mom were in the kitchen. 1 left, my dad said. 1's all we need, said my mom. Do you think we should do it? I think so, my dad answered. I think it's time. Okay, my mom said. I'll call tomorrow. 1's all we need? I slammed the door behind me so they would know I was there. If they were talking about getting rid of me, so they'd only have 1 kid, the easy one, I wanted them to stop. Not that I was worried. They probably weren't even talking about me anyway. Shh, my dad said. She's home. Okay, fine. I was worried. And that is the end of chapter 7. Be sure to look out in Google Classroom, once again, like we've been doing, for comprehension questions that go along with this chapter, as well as a vocabulary word that goes along with the chapter. And then you can answer it either in the comments of the Google Classroom, or you could answer it in your journal and send a picture to your teacher, or you could answer it just having a conversation with someone in your house. I hope you enjoyed this chapter. Check back on Monday, because today's Friday. So check back on Monday, and there will be a new chapter. So we'll be moving on to chapter 8. We're almost done with this book. I'll see you soon.